Hey everyone, this is another episode of Success Kings. I'm your host, Sal Lodi, and we're here to talk about everything that has to do with insight into your success. Today I got a very special guest, a longtime friend of mine. His name is Cody Novini. Cody was in the military for 5 years as a Marine. And he got out of the Marines. I believe he was an aircraft mechanic in the Marines. And when he got out, he had the mechanical background, and he jumped into HVAC for a prominent company out here in California. And well, I'll just let Cody take it from here. Go ahead, Cody.
That's correct. You actually got most of the stuff right. I was a little surprised you knew that much. I spent 5 years in the Marine Corps. I got out and got into heating and air conditioning, referred in by a friend, and just got to kind of see that side of the world of the trades, work with my hands, enjoy life, and not get into law enforcement like a lot of folks do. And it just kind of expanded what I thought was possible in the world. I came from a year where I made $38,000 in the military was the most I'd ever made. And my first year I made over 50 grand as an entry-level tech learning, and doubled my pay the following year and doubled my pay again the following year. So it was a nice eye-opening experience getting into heating and air conditioning, getting to be able to take care of folks.
Oh man, that sounds pretty interesting. So, I mean, why HVAC though? I mean, what brought you to, the king of all trades, as they say?
There was no long-term thought process that went into it. I'm one of the lucky guys that this is what landed in my lap, slapped me in the face, whatever you want to call it.
Really? Did you just see like an ad in the paper or something, or like?
No, a friend was like, "Hey," I was doing bodyguarding right as I got out of the Marines.
Right.
A lot of fun, armored vehicles, vests, guns, all this suits, like the movies.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun, but my buddy was like, I was looking for something more long term. He's like, come do HVAC with me. He worked at a very good company, and that's what I did. So it just kind of, if he would have said, come do plumbing with me or electrical with me or roofing, I probably would have said yes to whatever he was talking about.
Wow. Do you feel like where you were at, they really trained you for the next step in your life? I mean, do you think they gave you kind of some insight into what a plumbing, heating, and air business looks like?
Yeah, I think I'm very fortunate to have landed in a legit organization with a training program, standard operating procedures, structure, different positions that you could be in, rather than landing at like a small ma and pa shop where we're just struggling to stay busy and we're having fun and it's kind of, a hobby for the owners, but you're trying to make a living type of a thing.
Yeah.
Which those days, now having been a business owner, having a lot of friends that are business owners, those days where it's a hobby, it's so much fun. There's so many great stories about that, but those days aren't paying for, good financial lifestyles where people are able to buy their first home and buy nice cars and have their wife sit at home and take care of the babies, while you're out working. So
what you said you started at 50,000 and then the next year you doubled your pay. I mean, what was all involved in that? I mean, how did you go from 50 to 100? What was it that you were actually putting into practice?
Well, most of this industry, I would say, was kind of textbook of what most of the big companies in this industry are doing. As an entry-level technician, you're working on maintaining young heating and air conditioning equipment, doing small minor add-on sales, doing turnovers for if there's anything major needed, but that opportunity for something major is not going to be as common because you're learning how systems work, you're learning how to talk to customers, you're learning how to get things involved. As far as like financing on something a little bit larger and handling objections and qualifying customers, and also just how a heating and air conditioning system works. So then the next year, as I worked my way up, I'm working on maybe a little bit older equipment, something somewhere in the middle where there's a lot of good duct flipping opportunities. So I was flipping over duct turnovers, I was selling more IAQ, and just following the process, not trying to invent something on my own as if I'm smarter than everybody else.
Trusting the process.
Trust in the process, following the process, doing what my supervisors told me. They tied me up with a special supervisor, and I just listened and did what he said, and it works. And I didn't fight and argue with everybody about everything and
Wow.
complain about my paycheck. So
Good soldier, right?
yeah.
Makes a great general. That's what they say. Can you share like a personal mantra or philosophy that guides you in your life?
So you're going to kind of make fun of me, and I got to explain it, so don't judge me right off the bat.
Okay.
But there's this term that I learned when I was very young called happy wife, happy life.
Nice.
And one of my best friends, happy wife, happy life, still one of my best friends now. But his relationship didn't go down happy wife, happy life. It was my wife's happy and I'm miserable. And I'm not going to get into any of the details, but it was really sad to see that happen. And just I hated that term. But here I am as a young service tech. I'm meeting thousands of customers a year, and I'm talking to them. I'm building a relationship with them, and then I'm letting them know, what they're facing, expensive situations. It's going to cost thousands of dollars to fix this. And because I built a great relationship with them, they'd take the time to tell me why they couldn't afford it and the struggles they've been through, or they'd tell me why they could afford it and the successes that they've had. And I learned lessons from them. And I kept meeting a lot of older gentlemen that'd been married 40 plus years. And they're like, happy wife, happy life. And I'm like, that kind of like, explain.
Right.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
And I remember this customer I'm at, younger couple, and they've got like 16 colors of gray on the wall. And they're picking out which color they're going to paint the home. And they're doing it together. And I'm like, those are all the same color in my mind. I'm not saying anything to them, of course. And my wife was like, at that time, like, hey, I want to paint the kitchen this color. And I was like, I don't want to look at 16 samples of gray. I said, whatever, babe, whatever you want. So we had it painted, and actually she painted the kitchen that color. And she was so happy about it. And she was just, because I was so easy, whatever you want, babe, she then does whatever she can to take care of me. She takes way better care of me than I can take care of myself. And so
Wow.
I do happy wife, happy life to the mature man is do everything for her you possibly can, because she's going to take better care of you than you can of yourself. And when I do that with my employees, when I've taken far better care of them than they ever thought they could, and I press them and I put pressure on them at the right times, and I try to, like Tommy Mello's book says, to elevate folks to live past anything they ever thought was possible. When they achieve that, they're so grateful, and you're also reaping the reward of their success in your business. And it just builds this culture of success and this culture of appreciation, people that want to work hard for you. Yeah, there's folks that they want to go clock in and clock out and do their job, and if they're following their metrics, then you keep them employed because they're happy and they're making the business money like they're supposed to, and the customers are happy. But you're going to get these unicorns,
Right.
that you're able to stretch their mind, that they actually achieve things they never thought were possible.
And just see like a bigger vision.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then they do things for you.
So you're saying that, this mantra of happy wife, happy life is kind of universal. You can use it in your business as well, because it's just about taking care of others better than anything else or anyone else, and then from there they grow in appreciation.
Correct.
And it comes back tenfold.
Yep.
Wow. Is there a particular moment or decision during your work life or where there was like just a turning point, or you were like, hey man, I got to go do this for myself?
I had my business about 8-9 years before I sold it. And the first 4 years was that hobby lifestyle, fun time, like I was kind of talking about before. We made money. We did great work for our customers. We had crazy hair and beards, not really much grooming standards, not really making sure our vehicles are clean, but we'd play video games at work and go spear fishing and, go camping and like just turn the phones off. We had a lot of fun and we did great work at the same time. Wow. But when we wanted to turn it into a real business, to give people actual benefits, pay that they deserved, have better trucks, take better care of our customers, not have a slow season because we had a real marketing plan. When I got into the ACCA, we got into things called a mixed group. And that's a group of 8 to 12 contractors all over the country in non-competing areas that are similar size, similar goals. And so I remember the first one we went to was in Virginia, and I'm still part of this group with these guys. They're fantastic. We know about each other's personal lives. Like, we care about each other tremendously and each other's success. And we went there, and I got to go through their shop with this team of professionals. There's probably 10 of us at the time. They're questions they're asking and the answers they're giving, and these are questions I wouldn't have asked. So I'm like learning from the questions and from the answers.
Wow.
And then we're going through their shop, seeing everything they do right. And then after, we go through a review with them about the things that we would fix. And I'm learning from all of that. And like going through that every 6 months, we go to a different guy's shop. We go tear through the whole thing. We go through everybody's P&L.
You just fly out there,
Yeah.
wherever they were?
We'd stay out there for like 5 days.
Wow.
We go through everybody's P&L side by side, complete exposure, full transparency, and we just learn from each other. Instead of the meeting with people at conferences, oh, cool, what'd you do last year? And then, everybody's saying, they got some fluff in there, and you never know. You know what I'm talking about.
I mean, I'm actually in a group like that right now where, there's one particular guy, we're in the same area, but he's saying he's busy as anything. I'm like, how are you doing this? I don't want to fully doubt him, but it's like, it's like, show me the proof, did you have somebody like that in your mixed group that was like, just kind of fluffing it up?
Because full transparency, you're looking at everything.
Yeah.
And these guys are similar mindset. We all wanted to grow, and, we're pushing each other. We're asking each other, hey, have you guys ever tried this marketing tactic? And some people chime in, I have, and it worked great. I recommend it to everybody. And then everybody's like, wow, they're exposed. The other guys that aren't doing it are exposed to a new type of marketing that they could dabble in or not.
Wow.
But nobody in there was showboaty, still isn't. Just great group of folks, and all they want to do is help each other.
No gurus?
No. But it's almost the same thing. It's like what they're putting in, they're reaping what they sow. They're doing the happy wife, happy life without saying that statement because they're giving. Everybody in that group is just giving, and they're reaping from 10 other professionals that are doing the same thing. Like,
amazing stuff.
What turnaround, what great, return.
Amazing. Is there any habits or routines that you implement to your sex, or you attribute to your success?
I think everybody needs like a good routine, whether it's a morning routine and a night routine or one or the other. But I met Chad Smock. We worked at a company together a long time ago. He ended up becoming my GM and great friend. He's one of my best friends, just awesome dude. Similar age, and just we're able to bounce different ideas off each other with different experiences. And he was waking up at 4:30 in the morning, and I was waking up at like 6:30. And he's like, bro, I get up. I never have to rush. I take my time. I enjoy my coffee, breakfast, exercise, all these things. And I'm like, but bro, 4:30? And it's like, dude, just go to bed at 8 and wake up at 4:30. What's the big deal? Right? Like, we get stuck. I looked at my evening, and there's 3 hours, let's just say, spent on social media and Netflix. Like, what is that for? You're unwinding, but you don't really need to unwind from a horrible day if you start your day off really well. And so my morning routine, I get up, I brush my teeth, I get myself ready. I like to be efficient and do 2 things at once, but then I just go straight into my sauna. Last year I bought a sauna, a red light sauna and a cold plunge. I put them on my balcony in my master bedroom, and I wanted to invest in my health. So red light sauna, I sit in there, I read the Bible, I pray, I spend my time with God. There was a period I'd bring my phone in, and I'd just spend too much time on social media, so I stopped bringing my phone in there. And then after 45 minutes in there, I get out, I do some back exercises, and I go straight into the cold plunge. I do about 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And
wow, 3.5?
Yeah.
Like a world record.
I'm trying to actually mentally thinking about a world record. The highest elevation cold plunge in the continental U.S. But I don't know if there's a record for that yet.
I think it's like 4, but I want to say it's like 4 minutes, maybe a little bit more. But
no, like Wim Hof's done like 2 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So the professionals say 3 to 5 minutes, 45 to 50 degrees. You can go colder, you can go longer, but there's not really much benefit extra on top of that. So whether I want to do it or not, I'm going to the cold plunge, and it keeps my mental state a certain way, helps with recovery, all this fun stuff. And then I exercise to warm up.
You say you do back exercises?
Yeah, just like a back rotation exercise, something Gary Brecka I saw on Instagram he recommended. Wow. He's pretty smart in the medical field, so.
Gary Brecka?
Gary Brecka's kind of a genius, in my opinion.
Really? He's a doctor?
No, he's like the opposite of a doctor. He's like the anti-doctor.
Oh, okay.
No pharmaceutical stuff.
Oh, nice.
Just actually what our human bodies need.
That's
instead of medicine to mask it, you know?
That's pretty cool. So that's your morning routine. What about your evening routine?
Well, the morning kind of sets me up. So then I'm, a nice breakfast with my family, coffee, whatever. But now, like, I'm not rushing. I'm never running late to my morning meeting because I'm up hours before it. Some people go, how long does it take me to get ready in the morning? Okay, 15 minutes. Okay, I need to be somewhere at 8. I got a 30-minute drive, so I need to leave at 7:30. Right? You have no room for error. Then they need 15 minutes to get ready. So they're waking up at 7:15 to be somewhere at 8, and they're rushing the whole time. I don't like rushing, dude. I told my wife I was like, I don't want to rush anywhere. If we're running late, we're going to get there when we get there. But I don't want to rush. So my mornings, because of Chad, my mornings are fantastic. I'm not rushed. Awesome. I'm getting there on time. I'm getting there early, whatever. I'm prepared mentally. I'm ready to go. I'm not like, hey, has anybody got coffee? Oh, also, I need to use the restroom. Sorry, I got here 3 minutes late, but now it's 10 minutes late before we can start.
Right.
And so, that kind of just puts me into a good mental state, and I can be extremely productive during my working hours, which don't need to be 14 hours or even 12 hours. I can go work 6-7 hours, be extremely productive.
Wow.
Get home at a reasonable hour, see my family, be a dad, be a husband.
That's pretty cool. What time does your evening routine start?
I try to be home or leave work around 5 or, get home around 5:30, sometimes 3. Just kind of depends on what's going on.
And what time would you go to sleep if you're waking up at 4:30?
9 or 10. I don't wake up at 4:30. I did for a little while when I had to be at work at 7, but now I get up at 5:36.
You're semi-retired, right?
Just depends on, shut up. But, I don't, I'm getting up at 5:36 and just doing my thing.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
What advice would you give to, young entrepreneurs?
Do your research. And so a lot of us figure out your why. So for me, my why, I worked at a company. I liked it. I made good money. I was respected. It was somewhat a family organization. When it turned more corporate and we're coming into work every morning to get written up for things or signing papers about how we're going to get written up because somebody else screwed up or whatever, it was I was over. It wasn't more that family thing. I wasn't respected anymore. So the crazy hours I was putting in wasn't worth it to me anymore. I didn't really care about the pay anymore. I just wanted to be a dad. So I told my wife and she's like, cool. So I just quit. But it was because of how it was being managed. And I would hate that somebody goes to start a new business because their manager is treating them poor. Or they think the boss is so rich because they see how much we sell an air conditioner for and they think it costs nothing to install it. And there's no overhead in a business. You got to learn, what does it take to run a business? What is overhead and what goes into it? Well, it's only going to take me this much to start it up. Okay, well, you'll make no money at that size. How much do you want to make? Talk to professionals that are willing to share with you. But because there's so many business owners that are successful that want to share, and they'll share their information, and it's such a kind world. There's so many podcasts and best practices groups and folks going. So before you just jump ship and tell your manager to go to hell and burn your bridges, do your research first to figure out if this is something you can tackle, if you can handle the stress, if you can handle months or years without an income, and if you can pay for the business to float during those times. Right. And if you learn all this stuff and that's what you want, go for it. Fantastic. Yeah. Get into an academics group, get into like-minded people, and don't think you have the secret sauce, because you don't.
Yeah.
But if that's something that scares you, then maybe you just need to have a real talk with your boss and fix the problems.
I feel like most people that are entrepreneurs, they're really just, they own a job in the beginning at least. Very few actually figure out, that they want to be a business owner and what it actually takes to be a business owner. I mean, one thing I recently learned was, you got to budget for future growth. Like a lot of times if your business is, there's going to be a slow season, well, you got to have marketing dollars for that slow season. So where's that money going to come from? Well, it has to come from when you're busy. So let's say if your, percentage is 10%, for marketing, really it should be 20, because that extra 10% you're going to spend in the slow season to remarket so that you can have the budget to bring in, in our business, in our space, more calls, or in any other space, more business. And I think entrepreneurs, when they're pricing stuff out, they don't realize they need that extra padding. Some people will be like, well, you're cheating and you're robbing and you're stealing from people, and my answer to that is well, everybody needs benefits. Everybody needs health insurance. I mean, these are the normal things in our society. So if giving that to your employees makes your price go up, then so be it. I mean, how do you feel like going to sleep knowing your workers can't afford to go to the doctor? That'd make me feel worse. What do you think?
A lot of these guys have pride that they're cheaper.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was brand new, I went to a dealer meeting, and there was a 30-year-old, like a 30-year business guy, and like a 40-year business guy.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there with a friend of mine who's one of my installers, and I'm in a Target polo, and I'm just like at my first dealer meeting, like, what are we walking into? And I'm like, hey, don't tell anyone any of our secrets, right? That's what I'm worried about. What a dork. But I remember this one guy goes, how much do you charge for a system? Like, kind of aggressive, like punk. And I'm like, well, what system?
Right.
He's like, standard, single stage. And I'm like, I don't know. I threw out a number, 12 grand at the time, maybe, I don't know. And he's like, well, I charge 9 grand and I include ducks. Like, he was so proud of it.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, you can't afford anything.
Yeah, what's the point?
Like, and he's the guy, he had a job, probably had a crew, and that's it.
Right.
And he stayed that way. And for years, I went from the bottom feeder guy to, you've been in the dealer meetings, I'm getting the top awards in there.
Yeah,
or
I
top
witnessed
3
that. Yeah, I've witnessed
for
that.
years.
For years in a row.
And I remember
you
seeing
guys
him,
had the most variable speed sales for every year.
But I would see him every year. Hey, how you been? Good. He's sitting at the table with us. And then one time when I was going up and getting the award, my wife told me later that night that his wife was like, why aren't you up there? To her husband. And like, you just feel bad. Like,
I'm trying to think who was sitting with you on the table now. I think I know.
But
they're a bigger company, right?
No, stayed the same for 10 years.
Oh, really?
Didn't grow at all. And it's like, man, that sucks, dude. Like, these people need help. That guy should have been working for somebody all these years. But instead, he's out there saturating the market, being cheaper than everyone. Thinking he's doing the right thing, but he's not doing heat load calcs. He's not doing duct designs the right way. He's just connecting stuff and making cold and hot air come out of the vents. Like, he's doing his customers wrong and being cheaper.
Right. I think in the business world, there's a lot more entrepreneurs than needed. That's just my opinion. I think we need more intrapreneurs, which is people that are working within businesses, creating businesses. So they're using the main vehicle to create another business within a business and make that part of the business as their own. So they're not entrepreneurs, they're intrapreneurs. And a lot of people can find more success in doing that than rather trying to be, full-blown entrepreneurs. But I think it's all mindset as well. And, it's kind of accepting. Maybe you need to take your ego out of the way too as well. I know you're a big reader, Cody. You take a lot of notes as well. What's some of the books you've read that really help you out in life?
I hated reading when I was younger, and when COVID happened, I just started getting into audiobooks a lot. And so I've gotten over 50 books in my brain now, just in that period of time. It's been about 4 years.
Wow.
And I'd get book recommendations from mentors, and based off of either what they just recommended on Instagram, or I'm talking to them and people are giving me books to read. But I'd say my top 3 favorite are going to be Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. Being a military guy, it's an awesome book that really slaps a lot of leaders in the face with the truth. But it also gives you a lot of entertainment through the process. It's like you're watching a war movie the whole time.
That's
so it's
cool.
for me, that's what I like. If you don't like war movies, they're going to be as entertaining for you, but it'll be just as beneficial for you. Excellent leader book. 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni. Amazing book on just how a team works and what breaks a team down. And one of my other favorites that I probably wouldn't put as the best business book, but it's a really fun sales book, negotiator book, is Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Again, it's a lot of fun to listen to, and it just gives you a different perspective in how to communicate, understand people.
He was the CIA negotiator. Or
yeah,
no, the
FBI. But it's it almost gives you a lot of education in how to communicate with your staff when you're having a one-to-one. They're going through tough times. They're going through good things, like how to communicate with them in a really solid way. But when people ask me for books right now, I need to ask them what's your current stage of life? That's how I'm going to tell you what books to read.
Nice.
So 2 of the best ones for people in this industry or in home services are Tommy Mello's 2 books, Home Service Millionaire and Elevate.
Right.
But if you start with Elevate,
you're miss the first part.
Yeah, you're missing it. And then if you've passed Home Service Millionaire, there's good nuggets in it. It's just not going to help you out as much if you've surpassed that level. So start with the one. Okay, now you're in this phase of life. Okay, now get to Elevate. So that's kind of typically what I tell people. Where do you sit in life? And I'll send you a few good books to read.
Nice. That's good, because some people could read a book and really not benefit from it, because it's just, like you said, they're not in that stage of life. They need to take the steps to actually get there. I know.
I'll finish on the books real quick, because it's kind of people will read a book to get through it. Mm-hmm. Okay, the words have come out of my mouth. I've looked over them all. I've heard it all.
Yeah.
But they don't absorb. You got to expect to read a book a few times.
For sure.
It's like studying. You hated it as a kid in school.
Right.
This book, you have to study it and take notes on it. I like, again, audiobooks. Some people are different, but I'll listen to it at 1.2, 1.5 speed, depending on the author. And then I'll listen to it again at 2, 2.5, 3x to just cram through and remind myself while I'm driving. I'm not listening to music when I'm driving to and from work, when I'm going to friends' places, when I'm going to, the river or whatever. I'm listening to books. And I'll literally be driving to Lake Havasu. I've got the AirPods in. My wife's bored, but whatever. She's doing her own thing on the drive. And then I just pause, babe, write down these notes, and she'll she'll put all the notes into my phone.
That's pretty cool.
And then at the end of the drive, she emails it all to me, and
nice.
I have all my notes that I can study it. But if you're just reading books just to get through it, you're not gathering the knowledge, and then you're not going to implement it.
Exactly.
I've told people, go to this training class. They go to the training class, they go back to their habits. Nah, bro, you got to take these lessons learned and you got to implement them, and you're going to be uncomfortable in the beginning. You just got to push through the discomfort, and then it'll become regular.
Yeah, that zone where you got to be, people talk about the comfort zone. I guess you got to be in the discomfort zone, right? I mean, to make that progress. There's no progress without being in discomfort. Would you agree?
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, you ran your business for, what, 6, 7 years?
8 years.
8 years?
Yeah.
And then, you had a pretty successful exit. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I had the business about 8 years, 8, 9 years. We sold in that year. I stayed on for a year and then left. And it was a lot to learn. It was my first time, and just like anybody in their first time, there's a lot of lessons to be taught. And so massive lessons to be taught in there. And a lot of my staff learned quite a bit too, so that they could possibly be like just in a better situation.
Was it pretty scary? I mean, just like saying like, let's face it, this is your livelihood and like you're about to, give it away or sell it. And then, I mean, like structuring the deal and all of that, was it pretty nerve-wracking, would you say?
There's a lot that goes into it, more than most people would expect. In the future, I definitely would be far more prepared than I was the first time. But I think that's, when you say scary, not really. The only thing that I guess, worried about was my team. I wanted to make sure my team was taken care of.
Wow.
Because I know I'm going to be taken care of. And I know I've paid my team above average for their work for all these years. And I've talked to a lot of them since. I talked to most of them. They're like, dude, we had something so good, And here I am. Their lives are like perfect. And I'm going to take that away. And I didn't fully fathom all those things before it happened. And I expected things to go a certain way. So I was going to be able to give them something even better in the next chapter. But again, you're walking into something you've never done before at that time. So a lot of lessons learned for me and a lot of lessons learned for them. Most of those people really looked up to me, and a lot still do.
Oh, I bet. And hindsight is always 20/20, but what's some of the things you would have done differently, you think?
No matter what, no matter who it is or how much of a great relationship you might have or you might feel you might have brokers, have a broker involved. Have a separate entity of legal advice involved. And what I mean by that is there are plenty of CPA, tax advisor, bookkeeper organizations that'll do all of your books for you. But I really like having a CPA, a tax strategist, your own accounting team,
right,
and a separate legal team also if you ever need them. But because they're going to hold each other accountable rather than one firm with their goal being the priority and you're just their customer and they're doing everything for you. So don't have a broker, that
handle
works
it all.
with, yeah. Don't have a broker with his lawyer and his customers do everything. You got to separate things out so people can keep each other honest, so that they can make sure you're the priority. Read your books. There's plenty of really good books out there. Built to Sell is a really good book. There's quite a few other ones. I'd have to pull up my phone to remember exactly what they're called. I'm sure you can edit in a little gap here and I can pull up these books. And if not, I'm sorry, folks. Be patient while I pull these books up if you're really interested in it. Some other books, Private Equity Playbook, teaches you about who's buying you. The Art of Selling Your Business. That one is a really nice book to kind of get you mentally ready for it. There's a lot of other ones I've been...
What about Donald Trump, The Art of the Deal?
Haven't read that one. There's a lot, but those are three for somebody that's thinking about selling, I would say.
Nice.
Because you're going to go through a lot in that process.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
How important is reading to your success?
It's vital because it's okay, so I almost went and got a master's degree. And I went to one class, night class, after running the business, and I sat there and it was maybe just a really boring intro day. But I was like, I'm going to spend 3 to 4 years getting a master's in general business. This is going to be, and maybe I'm an idiot, maybe there's more to it than I know, but this is going to be a waste of my time. And so I looked up master's degree in heating and air conditioning, and that's when I was introduced to the EGIA.
Oh, wow.
And they gave me massive amount of knowledge.
EGIA?
EGIA,
Wow.
Electric Gas Industries Association. Yeah. Awesome best practices group.
Dave Cameron and
Drew Cameron, Gary Ellick's, Weldon Long. Yeah, the team. Fantastic. I think everybody should be part of them. I think everybody should be part of the Air Conditioning Contractors of America to learn how to do heating and air conditioning the right way, what a heat load calculation is, what's going on with the government. Everybody should be part of National Comfort Institute to know what airflow and refrigerant flow actually is and not just do air conditioning, to actually solve problems. Most of our industry doesn't know, so most of our industry is doing their work the wrong way, and they don't even know it. They're trying to do it right. They think they're doing it right. They're doing it the same way that their, journeyman or whoever taught them 30 years ago, and no one's been to a training class since.
Right.
So
Wow.
it's unfortunate. But the books are giving you the specific class you want to go to. Mm-hmm. Here's your bachelor's degree, master's degree, and whatever. The book is, I specifically want to learn leadership. 5 Dysfunctions of a Team talks about how to improve a messed up team. You got a messed up team, read that book specifically. If your people are, upset and maybe you're a poor leader, or you think you just want to hone in on those skills, work on that. If you need to learn how to talk to people, listen to Never Split the Difference. If you need to, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
you
There's
can
a book
get
for
to
everything.
There's a book for everything.
Right.
And you can get to the specific knowledge that you need without going to classes and talking to the wrong people and all these things.
Yeah,
So,
we just started a book club in my business. Right now we're going over, it's a monumental piece, but it's kind of advanced, I think. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Have you read that book?
amazing book.
It's an amazing book.
I love it.
Yeah, I know. I break down books in 2 pieces, right? In 2 categories, rather. Either it's going to give you some kind of spiritual medicine, or it's going to give you medicine for your mind. But just like any prescription, any medicine, like you said, you got to take it every day. You got to read it every day, and believe in it every single day, implement it every single day. That's the only way it's going to help you.
Yeah.
But both your soul and your mind, I feel like, they deserve medicine. They need medicine.
That book kind of hits on both too. At the end, he gets pretty spiritual.
Yeah, that's true.
But the 7th habit is books, like sharpen the saw. Reading the books, you're sharpening your saw, your mind.
That's the 7th habit.
And that book is amazing. I love that book.
Definitely. What's next for you? Do you have any upcoming projects you're excited about?
Well, I have a vacation I'm going on soon. But so my passion is businesses. So I'm really excited about businesses. And ever since I left and sold the business, a lot of people found out, and a lot of my friends and, competitors and folks that I've just, deal with over the years have been hitting me up and asking questions. Hey, dude, help me here. What would you do in this situation? Could you come hang out at my business? And guys from the church and all over the place, old neighbors.
I hit you up a few times.
Yeah. And so I really have a passion for businesses, and I know what's worked. I've failed a ton, so I've learned plenty of lessons. I've learned lessons from my customers over the years and my mentors. I really listen, and I'm big into books. So right now I've been consulting for some friends and some folks from the church, and just mostly home services businesses, some construction, roofing, restoration, welding business even, all sorts of stuff.
Nice.
And it's really exciting. It's really cool to see the ability to actually just make massive change really quick in a month's period, 2 months period, to see things turn around. Also pretty interesting to see the emotion of different business owners, some humble, some not so humble. Come in, help me, here's my problems. And you go in and help, and they're like, oh, we already knew everything. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But it's been a lot of fun, and I'm going to pour a lot of gas on that. So that's going to be the direction of the majority of what I do.
Do you have a name for your business yet?
No.
Just Cody Novini?
Yeah, I'm Cody Novini. Find me on Instagram.
That's pretty
The
cool.
website's not even finished yet. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know Stephen, going back to seven Habits, Stephen talks about a point where, he says, just picture a funeral, and you're, walking into this funeral, and everybody's at the, walking past the casket. So you get in line to walk past the casket, and when you look into the casket, you see yourself there laying in the casket, and I mean, how would you feel if you saw yourself in the casket? I mean, what would you want people to remember you for? What would be your legacy, or what do you want to be your legacy?
What I would like to know at that time is that the work towards what I'm passionate about is actually happening, rather than being known as the one that did it. I don't care. Like, I'm not worried about, oh, Cody's got this great legacy. Like, that's cool if it happens. But like, my thing is, I've seen ethical sales guys struggle, and the unethical sales guy get the best calls because he makes the most sales. And I see that other problem I've told you about, where the uneducated installer, business owner, whatever, is doing lousy work, not knowing. I would like to know at that time that I made an impact on this industry, that the ethical sales guy is doing the job the right way. And that's who the champion is. We have these big conferences. Some organizations have these big conferences all about sales. The biggest sales guy, he makes the most money. It's all this attention to this celebrity sales guy, and it's not about like the teams doing things the right way. And so it'd be awesome that the industry as a whole, because I meet tons of dudes that are like, man, those guys are crooks, or those guys are, selling it the wrong way. Look how bad their installs are. Which there's some education that they need, but still, like, it'd be great to see that the good guys were the winning team.
Right.
So that's what, God's going to know what I did. That's all I need. I don't need, hey, Cody, blah, 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 funeral. Yeah, that'd be cool,
Yeah.
for my kids to see. I would hope that the funeral would inspire folks to carry the torch.
Wow.
But I don't want it to all be about me.
Yeah. That's deep. In business, there's different categories: marketing, different departments, sales, accounting, operations. Which one do you excel at? Which one do you think is like your forte?
When I ran the business early on in the years, I was like, I never want to have a legal team or an HR team. Like, I want to stay away from those. And then you have to learn how to get really good at legal and HR, especially in the state of California, and going through mergers and,
Right.
all these things. But so you kind of have to become really good at everything, although you want to hire the best at everything that there is, so that you don't ever think you're the best. But I really like marketing. I've gotten really, really good at marketing in certain markets. I've also gotten my teeth kicked in plenty of times in it too, to really know like this market. That doesn't mean I could go to Canada and have the best marketing tactics.
Right.
But I know it's worked in my business and in a lot of the other guys in our ACA mixed group. And I really like, dialing in a good annual marketing plan. And a lot of folks wait till they have no calls to try a marketing technique. And you're way too late. You got to do this stuff 3 to 6 months prior minimum. And so that sales is a lot of fun, getting the team riled up.
You're saying do the marketing 3 to 6 months before your season kicks off, or
before you walk into summer, you better have your fall marketing plan already created and ready to go.
Wow.
Not necessarily dial in the day that you're landing your direct mail.
Right.
Because in California, it could be September 1st and it could be Halloween when you're like finally running out of air conditioning leads.
Yeah.
We've had both and everything in between. So if you have everything land, then you're just pushing customers off. That's not great. So you really want to have, everything built, printed, ready to go. And then right when it's time, you can pull a trigger and they're dropping.
Wow.
Your electronic marketing first, so it lands that day, and then your direct mail when you're ready for it.
Are you a big believer in direct mail or digital marketing?
So if you advertise on the radio, on TV, at sporting events, digital marketing on Netflix and whatever, advertisements on YouTube, all that stuff, you're not creating calls. You're getting calls from customers that are thinking about their air conditioner that's broken because it's summertime. But in the off season, when it's perfect weather, 72 degrees and perfect for 2, 3, 4, 5 months straight, you have to create the business.
Right.
So you need to tell people what they need to do, which is normal routine maintenance on their heater, and then in the spring, normal routine maintenance on their air conditioner.
Right.
The only way to do that really well, in my opinion, is direct mail, email, outbound calling. You can put things on the radio. You can put things on TV. It's just not, it's really expensive. And when you're looking at the ROI at that time, if you're just branding, you're just wasting money because no one's calling you during that time.
In the slow season.
Slow season. You have to create the call.
It's been a great interview. I mean, I appreciate having you on today. What's something that people will be surprised to know about you, or if you want to leave our audience with, a golden nugget, whichever one, go right ahead.
I'll tell you this. Anything is possible. Anything you put your mind to, you can actually accomplish. And so Chad Smock, my good buddy, he said, he got me into doing triathlons, little sprints. And then I was like, somebody educated me on what an Ironman was. 140-mile triathlon. You swim 2.4 miles, you bike 112 miles, and you finish with a marathon. I'm like, I will never run a marathon in the first place. Right. But through just process and a lot of peer pressure for fun, I ended up doing a full Ironman. I did a half Ironman, 3 weeks later did a full Ironman. Damn. And never thought that's something that I would even be interested in. But it's just something that's I put my mind to it. I spent 5 months training while living and working and all these other things. And then I accomplished it. And it was really cool.
That's pretty cool.
And that's the most extreme one-day sporting event that you can do. Done. And I did it in, people are on the training things on Facebook and stuff oh, I'm prepping for my first Ironman in a year and a half. And I'm like, bro, you just put your mind to it and go. Don't overcomplicate things. But when I grew up, I was an average kid and maybe even a little less than average, but I was not the popular kid. I was not the best kid on the soccer team. I wasn't the, whatever, all those things. Right. So I saw myself as being lesser than. And then I think a lot of people see themselves as lesser than. Oh, I guess I'll just get a 9-to-5 job. I'll just deal with a bad boss because, and they settle for this earthly, in the box, safe lifestyle.
Wow.
Anyone can do anything.
Whoa.
Legit, put your mind to it. Dana White says, manifest it. It's real. You can go do it. And so I challenge everybody watching this. Set your mind to something. If you legit want this, and if you legit try and study and figure out what needs to be done, you can do that while anything else is going on in your life. Maybe not anything, but most lifestyles, you can get stuff like that done. I'm not a triathlete. I'm not going to go do Ironmans for forever. It's something that was crazy and I did it, and it's it was quite an experience. Wow. But if I could do that, I'm not a triathlete. I hated running the Marines. I'm a good swimmer. I hurt my shoulder a week before and still got through. And running, I didn't even have a fancy bike until right before. The bike I rode was a gift. Somebody let me borrow it. It was sitting on their side yard for years in the weather. I didn't even have disc brakes. These people have $20,000 bikes. I'm bro, I put $200 in this thing, dude. But You know, like
Wow.
anybody can do anything if you truly put your mind to it. So stop living in a box.
Hell yeah.
Go think of something crazy and freaking get it.
Hell yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
That was
bro.
great, man.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It was an honor to be
You
here.
heard it here. So much positive energy in the room. I mean, you got to be here to feel it. Thank you, Cody, for being on here. And do you want to let them know where they can find you at?
Yeah, just my name's Cody Novini, CodyNovini. Look me up on Instagram.
Perfect, awesome. And thank you for tuning in. We're going to hit you with great content next time as well. Click the subscribe button below and have fun.